So I'd like to, thank everybody for doing the live session. As I mentioned to a lot of people, the days and times of these sessions will vary from week to week. I just wanted to get in touch with my intro classes today because we do have, a couple assignments that you could be turning in tomorrow. And, it's the beginning of the class, just to make sure that we're all on the same page with what you need to know, so on and so on. So, I want to use these sessions less for me to kind of talk to you like I do in my lectures I record and upload to our D2L site, and use these sessions more for you to have an opportunity to talk to me, to have any questions about the course, about the readings, the assignments. And I always say, if you have a question, it's more likely than not that other students have the same questions, whether it be, how do I access something, or, when does something due? So, this is a good time at the beginning of the semester to everybody gets on the same page so we can go through the semester smoothly as possible. So, with that being said, anything I can do to get things going for today? Well, just, kind of jump in and please let me know. But, what I will do is kind of touch on a lot of questions that have emerged and reemerged through email or through office hour visits. So, one thing that's come up a lot is, how do I access, the readings that I need to do? So first, I always say, follow your syllabus, because the readings are assigned for a certain class period are all listed in our course schedule, which is in the syllabus. So let me, so in our syllabus, you basically just want to follow along. Can everybody see my screen okay? Thank you. So our first class yesterday, basically is a preview class. I wanted you to kind of understand what's going on and how it's going on in the class. And so, what I did is made a little bit of a video for that. And I'm on the topic of videos, so I'll stop here for a second. Um, Supposedly, they're still working on some issues that people are having accessing the, specifically for our class, the Zoom videos I've been uploading. So if you're having issues, keep on trying, because they are trying to fix that. It's something to do, I guess, with the server. Nevertheless, what I have done is uploaded the same videos to YouTube. And so you should be able to access those videos through the YouTube video link in our same content section if you can access the link to the Zoom recordings. So with that being said, going back to the schedule, so for tomorrow's class, what you need to do to keep up with things is have read the Mills reading and turn in class assignment 1. And you will access, if you go to your D2L homepage, you find our class. You want to go to the resource content part. And basically here is where everything is going to be that you need in the class. I put in, all the readings that fall outside of the 2 books that you're going to buy, all the in-class assignments I upload here, on all the course lectures, both kind of video, audio versions, and I also have just a simple non-audio PowerPoints if you want to look at those as well. So you want to find, again, this kind of nicely goes with the syllabus. So if you go to part 1 of the class in your syllabus, you'll see kind of everything that's there, the class preview link, the YouTube format of it. And then here's the reading for tomorrow, the Mills one. And by every reading and by every in-class assignment, I do put the dates there. And again, it's the same dates you see in your syllabus, but just to have it kind of up front. You'll click on the reading for that class period. You can print it out if you want, or you can just read it on your screen. And that's what you need to read kind of before that class period, for that day, tomorrow. And then just be mindful, when we do have in-class assignments, those in-class assignments are due the day we go over it in class. So in-class assignment 1 is due tomorrow by 10 o'clock at night. And you'll see the instructions for that. So basically, again, all the content you'll find in the content section, and you'll see different modules that kind of relate to the syllabus. So after we finish tomorrow's class, we go to part 2 of our semester, and then you'll see everything so far that I've uploaded for part 2, different lectures, different readings, and different in-class assignments. So that's just kind of a quick kind of look over at where you get everything. And this kind of while we're on the topic, you turn in your assignments when you go to assessment and assignments. And again, this looks a little bit different for you compared to me, just because I had that instructor view of things. But here's where you find basically where you're going to be turning everything in. So it doesn't matter kind of the form you use. So I'll look real fast in class or the first reading reaction. So the first opportunity to do a reading reaction is for tomorrow's reading, the Mills piece. And you'll see that some people do PDF files. Some people do document files. Some people provide Google Docs links. So it doesn't matter how you submit the assignment, as long as you get it into me, you're going to be good to go. And within this assignment section, not only do you submit your assignments, it's where you're going to see your feedback and your grades. So basically, what I do, I click on the links you provide me when you turn it in. Then I'll basically kind of grade you right here in my feedback section. I'll say what you did correctly, what perhaps you need to change a little bit, what you need to correct, and then I give you your grade for the assignment. And so the feedback and your grades will all be found in the same spot you turn in your papers. And usually D2L notifies you pretty quickly after I publish the feedback and I publish your grades. So other than that, I'm trying to think of any other major questions. So as I stop and think a little bit, let me kind of turn it back over to you. Anything on your end that I could make a little bit easier, or I could clarify?
So the reading reaction for Mills, that's different from the in-class assignment with you.
Yeah, so we have basically 3 different types of assignments you're going to be doing throughout the semester. You have our 3 book reports that will cover the 3 books that we'll be reading throughout the semester, 2 which you buy. So you buy or you rent the Leroux book, that's for part 2 of the class, and you'll buy or you rent the Rich Get Richer and the Poor Get Prison book, that's for the last part of the class. The third part of the class, I provide you PDF files of the chapters you're going to read, and those are already uploaded in the part 3 part of the content section. So those are all for the book report assignments. So 3 book reports, and then we have 10 in-class assignments. And so the in-class assignments are listed throughout the schedule. And I've done them a lot kind of up front in the class. You'll notice that tomorrow's class, both classes next week, Tuesday and Thursday, all have in-class assignments. And I do that just to make sure you get involved in the class early. You don't want to wait until week 4 and then start to do the readings and then start to do the assignments. So the in-class assignments are all listed in the course syllabus and the schedule. And also I upload them in that content section. So if you jump back to content, we can go to the next part of the class. So starting on Tuesday, we go to part 2 of our class, and you'll see underneath the reading for Tuesday, the in-class assignment that goes with it. And basically, You click on that in-class assignment, and I tell you kind of what's going on. And two things real fast related to this assignment. In-class assignments are graded by participation. So normally, basically, this is something that we would do in the later part of the class period if we were meeting face-to-face. And it's kind of like attendance points, kind of like participation points. If you do the activity, you're going to get the 10 points for it. The second thing related to this is make sure that you go through the course lectures, because at the end of every class lecture, when we do have a in-class assignment that relates to it, I do talk about it briefly. So, I try to explain everything the best I can in terms of the text I provide, but also in the video lectures, I go over these as well. So, make sure you stick around the video until the end, because usually at the end, I talk about, here's the in-class assignment, and here's how you should approach the assignment if you want to get the most out of it. And then finally, going back to the last assignment form, the reading reaction assignment. In the reading reaction, I always say that, like, for tomorrow's class, it's your first opportunity to turn in a reading reaction, because you need to get 6 of them finished by the end of the semester. So, you could do the first 6 opportunities and you could be done with that assignment, or you can just kind of go about turning in the assignments when you have the time, when you feel like writing about a certain reading. And so, yeah, and basically that's how that works. And in every reading reaction, you're doing the same thing. What you're doing is trying to break down the reading for that day in terms of what the author is trying to explain, kind of like the main idea, and then the how they're explaining it, how they're explaining the main idea to the reader. And then what you do is you add in 2 questions about the reading. These could be questions that you're unsure of yourself. These could be questions that you already know the answer to, but you just think relate well to the reading. And then also kind of 2 full pages double spaced. And there, just as long as you're using kind of the normal fonts and normal type of spacings, and I can tell you're around that 2 space mark, you're going to be good to go. But if I see basically, this page is barely making, a full 1 page, and then you're going to get a couple points taken off for that. So that's a reading reaction assignment. It's worth 10 points. And you can do this assignment on any reading that falls outside of our 3 books. 3 books, we do our book reports. All the other readings that you access on D2L, you can do the reading reactions on them. And then there's one more thing, you can get extra credit through reading reactions. If you do more than the 6 required, what I do is I drop the lowest score and I turn it into extra credit. So for example, if you turn in 8 reading reactions, I'll take the 6 highest scores and count that towards the 60 points. And then what I do is convert the 2 lowest scores to 3 points extra credit apiece. So those are assignments we'll be going through. Anything else I can touch on? Now let me ask you, is anybody still having trouble accessing any of the videos or any of the readings for that matter? Okay, it sounds like a no to me. Anything else I can touch on?
Okay, so for the book reports, are we
Yeah.
reading like the books on our own time, or is it something we're gonna do like gradually? Like, I don't know how to describe it. I've been
No.
about it, but
Basically, what I do is I try to break it up into amounts. So for the LaRoe book, there are 13 different chapters we're going to be going through. So we spend basically, 2 weeks on the book, kind of going through it together, at a certain pace. But again, the way I organize the class, you can always work ahead. So, you can read the book by the 15th, but the, the lectures I'll be uploading and the kind of live sessions that we're going to be doing will correspond more with our class schedule. And for the book reports, I do provide you kind of the directions, the guidelines. So before you start reading the book, you're going to have an idea of what the paper is going to be about, what you're going to be writing about.
Okay, good. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. And, like I was having office hours earlier, and I just kept on kind of repeating that, this is similar to any like face-to-face class at the beginning of the semester. I always answer the same questions. How do I access the readings? When are the reading reactions due? What do you mean when you say reading reactions? So, it's the same, I always upload an example on D2L for them. And I did the same thing for you guys. If you go to the content section, there's actual an example of a past reading reaction that a student did. And, the visual sometimes helps you make sense of it a little bit more than the description. So here's the Newman reading reaction. It's a piece we actually have in part 3 of the class. But, kind of a paragraph of what the author's trying to explain, the main ideas. And then she gets into kind of how they explain them. And then at the end, 2 questions that relate to the readings. So again, everything is basically similar in terms of the questions that I receive, what I try to talk about during the first week of the class. It's a little bit different because sometimes we're not as comfortable, with the online method and the technologies that go with the online method compared to, being in class. That's what we're used to. That's what we're kind of comfortable with for the most part. So the other part of this is this kind of, like I said in some of those videos, make sure that you're engaged, because the sooner you kind of get your hands dirty and do the assignments, access the readings, watch the videos, the more comfortable you're going to feel. By week 2, by week 3, some of the uneasiness will translate into a peace of mind that you didn't have originally. And again, that's like any new semester. Everybody, even myself, I've taught here for a while, but still that first and second class period, there are a little bit of nerves. And I think that's just normal, because even though you've taken a class, taught a class before, when you're stepping into a new environment of people, it's a little bit different. By the time week 3 comes around, I'm pretty comfortable in terms of doing what I'm doing. And I think students kind of fall in line eventually as well. So, like I told that student, you may feel a little bit uneasy, a little bit uncomfortable now. It's a feeling shared by your fellow students. And you may feel like you really don't know what's going on in terms of everything. But again, that's like most students. But the more you do it, the more it's going to come pretty easy to you. It's going to feel like second nature. So anything else I can touch on? Is there anything that you would like me to be focusing on more, or like me to be doing differently, or perhaps in addition to what I've already been doing? And this is kind of the tough part for the instructor, is because sometimes we don't get the same kind of feedback, whether it be in class. I can look at you and I can tell that perhaps you're not getting something. And sometimes I don't get that same feedback when I can't see your face, when I can't kind of tell if you're getting it or not, or if it's useful or not. Like I say, I don't want to overwhelm you with information like those class logs, but hopefully if you use them correctly, they'll help you kind of go through the class and stay on top of things and not fall behind. So again, hopefully you're not feeling annoyed by those, but I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So anything else I can touch on, related to our class, related to school, related to anything in general, like maybe be useful?
I just had one question.
Yeah.
So are like I know that we're having a live session right now, but are these going to be like weekly things, weekly live Zoom calls or
Yeah, so the time will change. So what I'm going to probably do next week is align it more when we were originally scheduled to have class. So if my memory serves me correctly, our class meets, or we're supposed to meet at 1:10. So I probably schedule things for around 1:30 next week on a Thursday. And because it's tough because although people may not have class then anymore, they may be working a job that they would not have worked otherwise if it was face to face. So I'm going to try my best to move things around and be flexible with these, because I do want all students to have a chance to come and participate. And then also, for some reason, if you can't join a live session, I am recording those, and I will upload them to our D2L site as well. Because
Okay,
again, if you have these questions now, more likely than not, a lot of other students have the same questions.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Well, I don't want to, keep you any longer than I need to. One other thing I'll say, feel free to turn in assignments to me, like a draft of assignments. So if you're doing a reading reaction and you want to turn it in early, I can kind of tell you if you're on the right track or not. So feel free to do that with your book reports as well. I'll make sure to get that out to everybody. But there's kind of one thing that I haven't said to you guys that I do during the semester. I'm more than happy to look at drafts of papers and your book reports especially. And so you can do as good as you want to do. You can do well if you want to. So I'll leave that there. Feel free to hang out and stick around if you want to talk to me about anything. Otherwise, feel free to leave the meeting. And, just keep on following those course logs, and I'll let you know when the next live session will be next week.
I'm gonna go work on the reading
Thanks
reaction.
again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, thank you.